I've been a flight attendant for 10 years. I've seen medical emergencies, unruly passengers, turbulence that made grown men cry. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what happened on Flight 227 from Boston to Seattle. We lost both pilots at 30,000 feet over Wyoming, and the only person who could save us was an 11-year-old girl traveling alone. If you'd told me that morning that a sixth grader would land our Boeing 737 with 147 souls on board, I would have laughed. But I'm not laughing now. Before we dive in, have you ever witnessed someone do something impossible? Or seen a child display more bravery than any adult in the room? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love stories about unlikely heroes, courage under pressure, and miracles at 30,000 feet, please subscribe so you don't miss our next one. Now let me tell you about the most terrifying 5 hours of my life. My name is Carol Jensen, and I've been a flight attendant for Alaska Airlines for exactly 10 years, 2 months, and 14 days. I know the count because my daughter keeps asking when I'm going to quit and get a normal job. But I love this job. I love the routine. The fact that even when things go wrong, there's always a protocol. Always a procedure. Until there isn't. October 17th, Flight 227, Boston Logan to Seattle Tacoma International. I arrived at the gate at 9:15 a.m. The Boeing 737 was already boarding. I did my usual pre-flight check, emergency equipment, seat belts, overhead bins. Captain James Wright was in the cockpit, 48 years old, 20 years with Alaska, good reputation, calm demeanor. "Morning, Carol," he said without looking up from his pre-flight checklist. "Morning, Captain. How are we looking?" Clear skies all the way to Seattle, smooth flight. His first officer, Joshua Newman, was younger, mid-30s, newer to the airline but competent. He gave me a quick smile. "Should be an easy day." Famous last words. Boarding finished at 9:45. We had 147 passengers. Pretty full flight for a Tuesday morning. I did my walkthrough, checking seatbelts, reminding people to turn off devices. The usual. That's when I noticed her. Seat 14C, window seat. A young girl, maybe 10 or 11 years old, traveling alone. She had an unaccompanied minor tag on her backpack. I knelt down beside her seat. "Hi there. What's your name?" "Flora." She had dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, serious brown eyes, mature face for her age. "Flora, I'm Carol. I'm going to be taking care of you today, okay? This is your first time flying alone?" "No, I fly alone a lot. I was visiting my grandparents in Boston. Now I'm going home to Seattle." "Well, if you need anything at all during the flight, you just press this button right here, and I'll come check on you every hour. Sound good?" "Yes, ma'am. Thank you." Polite kid, calm. Not nervous like most unaccompanied minors. I made a mental note of her seat number and moved on. We pushed back from the gate at 9:58 a.m., 2 minutes early. Captain Wright's voice came over the intercom. Smooth, professional. "Good morning, folks. This is Captain Wright from the flight deck. We've been cleared for takeoff. Flight time today is approximately 5 hours and 15 minutes. Weather looks great all the way to Seattle. We'll be cruising at 35,000 feet. Sit back, relax, and we'll have you on the ground in Seattle by 1:15 Pacific time." The engines roared. We taxied to the runway. Then we were up. Boston disappearing below us. Blue sky ahead. After the seatbelt sign turned off, I met Albert and Nina in the forward galley. "Beverage service?" Albert asked. He was relatively new, only 2 years with Alaska, but reliable. Calm demeanor, good with nervous passengers. "Let's start," I said. "Nina, you take aft. Albert, mid-cabin. I'll handle first class and check on our unaccompanied minor." Nina grabbed her cart. She'd been flying for 6 years. Tough, no nonsense. The kind of person you wanted in an emergency. "The kid in 14C? "Yeah, Flora. She's 11, visiting grandparents in Boston, flying home alone. I'll keep an eye on her when I pass through. Nina said. We started service. Everything routine. Everything normal. For now. About 90 minutes into the flight, I brought meals to the cockpit. Standard procedure. Pilots eat during the flight, usually different meals in case one is contaminated. But we'd run out of the chicken option. Both Captain Wright and First Officer Newman got the pasta. Here you go, gentlemen, I said, handing over the trays. Thanks, Carol, Captain Wright said. He looked tired. Long morning? You okay? Yeah, just didn't sleep well. I'll be fine once we're on the ground. I closed the cockpit door and went back to the cabin. 30 minutes later, the intercom buzzed. Captain Wright's voice, but it sounded wrong, strained. Carol, cockpit, now. My stomach dropped. I walked quickly to the front. Knocked. The door opened. Captain Wright was pale, sweating. His hand was on his stomach. I don't feel well, he said. First Officer Newman looked even worse. His face was gray. Neither do I. Something's wrong. What are your symptoms? Nausea, cramping, dizziness. Wright gripped the armrest. I think it was the food. Oh God, food poisoning. Both of them. I'm getting the medical kit, and a doctor if we have one on board. I ran back to the cabin and grabbed the internal crew phone, the private line connecting all flight attendants. Albert, Nina, code red. Both pilots are incapacitated. I need a medical professional and anyone with pilot experience. Now. Static. Then Albert's voice, steady but tense. Copy, making announcement. Through the cockpit door, I heard Albert on the PA system. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is a medical professional on board, please press your call button immediately. Nina's voice came through the internal phone. Carol, I'm getting 3 call buttons lit up back here, 2 claiming medical background. Send them forward. And Nina, we need to keep everyone calm. If this goes wrong, we'll have panic. Understood. Nina brought the passenger on 22A first, a woman in her 50s. Short gray hair, confident posture. I'm Dr. Lauren Fitz. What's the emergency? Both pilots are sick. Possible food poisoning. Can you help? Her face went pale. Both pilots? Yes. Take me to them. Dr. Fitz examined both men in the cockpit. I stood in the doorway, heart pounding. Captain Wright was hunched over. First Officer Newman had his head between his knees. Severe gastroenteritis, Dr. Fitz said quietly. Likely from contaminated food. They're both dehydrated. Experiencing vertigo, nausea. In about 10 minutes, they're going to lose consciousness. Can you treat them? I can give them fluids, anti-nausea medication, but they need a hospital, and they definitely cannot fly this plane. The world tilted. What do you mean they can't fly the plane? I mean they're incapacitated. You need another pilot, immediately. I looked at Captain Wright. He was barely holding himself upright. Jim, I said, can you still fly? He shook his head. I can barely see straight. I'm sorry, Carol. I can't. Josh? First Officer Newman looked up. His eyes were unfocused. I'm worse than he is. I can't. Dr. Fitz looked at me. You need to find another pilot, right now. I walked back into the cabin on shaking legs. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. I picked up the intercom. My voice didn't sound like mine. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a medical emergency in the cockpit. If there is anyone on board with pilot training, commercial or private, please identify yourself immediately. Silence. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Then a hand went up. Row 19, aisle seat. A man in his 40s, business suit. Confident expression. I ran to him. You're a pilot? I have my private pilot's license. I fly Cessnas, recreationally. Can you fly a commercial jet? I've never flown anything this big, but I can try. It wasn't a yes, but it was something. Come with me. His name was Tom Richardson. I brought him to the cockpit. Captain Wright was now lying on the floor. Dr. Fitz had an IV in his arm. First Officer Newman was conscious, but barely. Tom looked at the instrument panel. His confident expression evaporated. This is way more complex than a Cessna. But you can fly it. I don't know. There are so many instruments, so many systems. I fly small planes in clear weather. He gestured helplessly at the panel. I don't know what half of these things do. Can you land it? He looked at me, honest fear in his eyes. I don't think so. I'm sorry. I don't think I can. My heart sank. We were going to crash. 147 people, including me. We were all going to die. Excuse me. A small voice behind me. I turned. Flora, the 11-year-old from 14C, standing in the cockpit doorway. Sweetie, you need to go back to your seat. This is an emergency. I know. I heard. I can help. Flora, this isn't a game. We need a real pilot. I can fly the plane. I stared at her. What? I can fly the plane. My dad is a pilot. Captain Rob Daniels. He flies for Alaska Airlines. He's been training me since I was 7. I know how to fly. Tom Richardson laughed. Not meanly, just disbelief. Kid, this is a Boeing 737. You can't. I know it's a 737-800. I've flown this exact model, in simulators, with my dad. I know the instruments. I know the procedures. I know how to communicate with air traffic control. I looked at this 11-year-old girl, small for her age, serious brown eyes, completely calm. Flora, I appreciate that you want to help, but... What's that? She pointed at a gauge on the panel. Tom looked. I don't know. It's the engine pressure ratio gauge, EPR. It shows thrust from the engines. That one's the vertical speed indicator. Shows if we're climbing or descending. That's the attitude indicator. Shows if we're level or banking. She pointed at instrument after instrument, naming them, explaining them. My mouth went dry. That's the autopilot. It's currently engaged. Altitude hold at 35,000 feet. Heading 285. Airspeed 420 knots. Tom Richardson stared at her. How do you know all that? I told you. My dad taught me. Every weekend since I was 7, we go to the flight simulator. He says it's important I know how to fly, just in case. She looked at me. This is just in case. I should have told her to sit down. Let the adults handle it. But Tom Richardson couldn't fly this plane. Captain Wright was unconscious. First Officer Newman was fading fast. Flora was 11 years old. But she was also the only person on this plane who knew what these instruments did. Okay, I heard myself say. Okay, sit down. Flora climbed into the captain's seat. Her feet barely reached the pedals. She adjusted the seat forward, then looked at the instrument panel like she was reading a familiar book. First thing, we need to contact air traffic control. Let them know what's happening. She reached for the radio, pressed the button. Her voice was steady. Seattle Center, this is Alaska Airlines Flight 227. We have an emergency. Both pilots are incapacitated. This is Flora Daniels. I'm 11 years old. I'm the only person on board with pilot training, requesting immediate assistance. Static. Then a woman's voice. Professional, but shocked. Flight 227, Seattle Center. Say again? Did you say 11 years old? Yes, ma'am. I'm 11. My father is Captain Rob Daniels. He's a pilot with Alaska Airlines. He's been training me. I need help landing this plane. A pause. Then, Flight 227, Roger. Stand by. Flora looked at me. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. I'm scared, she whispered. Me too. But I can do this. My dad taught me. I just need him. We'll get him. I promise. The radio crackled. The same woman's voice. Flight 227, this is Seattle Center, Controller Julia Gray. We're trying to contact your father. In the meantime, I need you to tell me what you see. Can you do that? Yes, ma'am. Good. Start with your altitude and airspeed. Flora scanned the instruments. Altitude 35,000 feet, airspeed 420 knots, heading 285, autopilot engaged. Excellent. Don't touch anything yet. Just keep monitoring. We're working on a plan. I stood behind Flora, watching this tiny girl in a captain's seat, hands resting lightly on the controls. Tom Richardson was next to me. She's really going to try this. She has to. We don't have another option. What if she can't? Then we crash. Behind us, in the cabin, passengers were starting to notice something was wrong. I walked back, put on my calm face. A man in row 12 grabbed my arm. What's going on? Why was there an announcement about pilots? We have a medical situation. Everything is under control. Is someone flying the plane? Yes, someone is flying the plane. Technically true. More passengers were standing, voices rising, panic spreading like fire. A man in row 8, Garrett Cole, according to the manifest, stood up. I heard the announcement. Both pilots are sick. Who's flying the plane? Sir, please sit down. Who is flying the plane? Everyone was looking at me now. 147 faces, all terrified. I took a breath. We have someone with pilot training in the cockpit. They're in contact with air traffic control. We're going to land safely. I need everyone to remain calm. Who is it? Who's flying? I hesitated. If I told them the truth, we'd have full panic. Mass hysteria. But they deserved to know. It's a passenger. She has extensive training. Her father is a commercial pilot. She knows what she's doing. She? Is she the little girl who left her seat? Yes. For 3 seconds, the cabin was silent. Then chaos. People screaming, crying, praying. Some tried to rush the cockpit. I blocked them. Everyone sit down. Right now. Or we will crash. Albert appeared from mid-cabin. Sir, I need you to sit down. I'm not sitting down. Both pilots are unconscious and some kid is flying. Nina pushed through from the back. Tall, intimidating when she needed to be. Everyone, sit. Down. Now. Something in her voice cut through the chaos. People hesitated. I stepped forward. Listen to me. That 11-year-old girl in the cockpit has been trained by her father, a commercial pilot, since she was 7 years old. She knows these instruments better than anyone else on this plane. But she needs silence. She needs to concentrate. If you want to live, you will sit down and let her work. Slowly, people sat. Albert moved through the cabin, checking seatbelts. Nina returned to aft, calming crying passengers. We were a team, and right now, that team was all that stood between order and chaos. I walked back to the cockpit. Flora was still there. Hands on the controls, eyes on the instruments, focused. Julia Gray's voice came over the radio. Flight 227, we've made contact with Captain Daniels, your father. We're patching him through now. Stand by. Flora's hands tightened on the controls. Static. Then a male voice. Deep. Warm. Scared. Flora? Her eyes filled with tears. Daddy? Baby, I'm here. I'm right here with you. You're okay. You're going to be okay. I'm so scared. I know. But remember what I always tell you? Fear is just information. That's right. It tells you what matters, and what matters right now. Getting everyone home safe. Exactly. Can you do that? I don't know. Yes, you do. You've done this 100 times in the simulator. This is the same thing. Same instruments, same procedures. The only difference is it's real. But you can do real things. You're my daughter. You're the bravest person I know. Okay. Good. Now, I need you to tell me what you see. Flora wiped her eyes. Focused. Altitude 35,000 feet. Airspeed 420 knots. Autopilot engaged. Fuel is 8,400 pounds. We have about 90 minutes of fuel left. Perfect. Where are you right now? What state? I don't know. Julia Gray cut in. Flight 227, you're currently over western Wyoming, about 500 miles from Seattle. Okay, Rob said. Flora, here's what we're going to do. Seattle is about an hour away. We're going to bring you in slowly. Very slowly. You're not going to rush anything. Every step, I'll be right here with you. Got it? Got it. First thing, I need you to start descending. We're going to come down to 10,000 feet. That's where we'll set up for approach. To descend, you're going to disengage the autopilot. Do you remember how? Press the red button on the yoke. Good. But don't press it yet. First, I need you to put your hands on the yoke. Both hands. Feel it? Yes. When you disengage the autopilot, the plane is going to be in your control. It's going to feel heavy, but you're strong enough. I know you are. When you're ready, press the button. Flora took a deep breath. Okay, I'm pressing it now. She pressed the red button. The autopilot light went off. The plane was now being flown by an 11-year-old girl. Good, Rob said. You're doing great. Now, gently, very gently, pull back on the yoke. Just a tiny bit. We're going to reduce airspeed. Flora pulled back. The nose of the plane lifted slightly. Not too much, just a little. She adjusted. The nose leveled. Perfect. Now look at your vertical speed indicator. See the needle? Yes. I want you to push the yoke forward, very gently, until that needle shows -1,000. That means we're descending at 1,000 feet per minute. Flora pushed forward. The plane's nose dipped. My stomach lurched. Too much. Rob's voice was sharp. Pull back, gently. Flora pulled back. The nose came up. She adjusted. Adjusted again. Finally, the vertical speed indicator showed 1,000. There! I got it! You did. You're doing amazing, baby. Now hold it steady. We're going to descend from 35,000 to 10,000. That's 25,000 feet. At 1,000 feet per minute, that's 25 minutes. I'll be right here the whole time. Just keep that needle at -1,000. Can you do that? Yes. I'm so proud of you. 25 minutes. They felt like 25 hours. Flora sat perfectly still, eyes locked on the instruments, making tiny adjustments to keep the descent rate steady. Behind her, I watched, helpless. Tom Richardson was next to me, equally useless. Dr. Fitz was tending to Captain Wright and First Officer Newman. Both were unconscious now, IVs in their arms, stable but incapacitated. Julia Gray's voice came over the radio periodically. Flight 227, you're doing great. Current altitude 28,000. On course. The passengers were silent, some praying, some crying quietly, most just staring at their seatbacks. Waiting. Row 14, the row where Flora had been sitting. An older woman, maybe 60, was crying. That's just a baby up there. A baby. But Flora wasn't acting like a baby. She was acting like a pilot. Altitude 10,000 feet, Flora said. Perfect, Rob replied. Now level off. Gently pull back on the yoke until the vertical speed indicator shows 0. Flora pulled back. The descent stopped. The plane leveled out. Good. Now we're going to prepare for approach. Seattle is about 15 minutes away. I need you to reduce airspeed. Pull back on the throttle. Do you see it? The two levers in the center? Yes. Pull them back slowly. Watch your airspeed. I want you at 250 knots. Flora reached forward. Her hands were shaking now. She pulled the throttles back. The engines quieted. The plane slowed. 240 knots. Good. A little more. She adjusted. 250 knots. Perfect. Now, I need you to do something very important. I need you to lower the landing gear. There's a lever on your right. Red handle. Says gear. Do you see it? Flora looked. Yes. Pull it down. You'll hear a loud noise. That's normal. Don't be scared. Okay. She pulled the lever. A massive mechanical clunk. The plane shuddered. I grabbed the seat back to steady myself. 3 green lights appeared on the panel. 3 green lights, Flora said. Excellent. Gear is down and locked. You're doing everything right, Flora. Everything. Julia Gray's voice. Flight 2127, you're 15 miles from Seattle, Tacoma. We're clearing all runways. You'll be landing on runway 16R. It's the longest runway we have. We're also deploying emergency vehicles, just as a precaution. Fire trucks, ambulances, in case we crashed. Flora, Rob said. I'm at the airport now. I'm in the control tower. I can see you. You can? Yes, I'm looking out the window. I can see your plane. You're beautiful. Flora's voice cracked. I don't know if I can do this. Yes, you can. You know why? Why? Because I'm right here. I'm not on the radio anymore. I'm right here, looking at you. And I'm not leaving. We're going to land this plane together. You and me. Like we've always done. Okay. I love you, Flora. I love you too, Daddy. Altitude 3,000 feet, Rob said. You're on the glide path, doing great. Now I need you to extend the flaps. There's a lever on your left. It has settings from 0 to 40. Right now it's at 0. Move it to 15. Flora moved the lever. The plane's nose dipped slightly. Good. Now to 30. She moved it again. The plane slowed. The nose dipped more. Altitude 2,000 feet. Airspeed 180. Perfect. I could see the ground now. Getting closer. Trees, buildings, roads. We were really doing this. We were really going to try to land. Flaps to 40, Rob said. Full flaps. Flora moved the lever one more time. The plane slowed dramatically. We were practically floating now. Altitude 1,000 feet. Airspeed 150. You're right on target, Flora. Right on target. I can see the runway, Flora whispered. I know. You're almost there. Now listen carefully. In about 30 seconds, you're going to touch down. When you do, I need you to pull back on the throttle all the way. Then immediately press the brakes. The pedals at your feet. Press them hard. Can you reach them? Barely. That's okay. Just press as hard as you can. Got it? Got it. I grabbed the internal phone. Albert, Nina, prepare for emergency landing. Brace positions in 90 seconds. Copy, Albert said. Roger, Nina replied. I heard Albert on the PA system, voice calm and clear. Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our final approach. In 1 minute, I will instruct you to assume brace position. When I say brace, lean forward, head down, hands behind your neck. Stay in that position until the plane comes to a complete stop. In the aft cabin, Nina was doing the same, moving through rows, checking seatbelts, making sure everyone knew what to do. I stayed in the cockpit doorway, watching Flora, this tiny girl with the weight of 147 lives on her shoulders. Altitude 500 feet, she said. Albert, Nina, I said into the phone. 30 seconds. Get to your jump seats. Copy. Through the door, I heard Albert. Brace! Brace! Heads down! I strapped myself into the jump seat behind Flora and prayed. 400 feet. The runway was right there, long strip of gray concrete. Emergency vehicles lining both sides, lights flashing. I held my breath. 300 feet. Flora's hands were white-knuckled on the yoke. 200 feet. You're doing perfect. Just hold steady. 100 feet. Oh God, oh God, oh God. 50 feet. Get ready, Flora. The ground rushed up. 30 feet. 20 feet. 10 feet. The wheels hit. Hard. The plane bounced. My heart stopped. Then the wheels hit again. Stayed down. We were on the ground. Rolling. Fast. Brakes! Rob yelled. Push the brakes! Flora shoved her feet down on the pedals as hard as she could. The plane shuddered. Slowed. But we were still going fast. Too fast. The end of the runway was coming up. Brakes, Flora! Harder! I'm trying! We were slowing, but not fast enough. 2,000 feet of runway left, then 1,000, then 500. We weren't going to stop in time. Then, Another set of hands reached down. Tom Richardson. He shoved his feet on top of Flora's, adding his weight. The brakes bit harder. The plane shuddered violently. We slowed, slowed, slowed. 100 feet of runway left, then 50, then 25. We stopped. The plane sat still, engines idling, on the runway, stopped. For 3 seconds, nobody moved, nobody breathed. Then the cabin exploded in sound, cheering, crying, applauding. Flora sat in the captain's seat, hands still on the yoke, staring straight ahead. Then she started shaking, the adrenaline wearing off, the reality setting in. "I did it," she whispered. I put my hand on her shoulder. "You saved us." Albert's voice came through the internal phone. "Carol, status? We're down, we're safe, everyone's okay." "Thank God," his voice cracked. "Thank God." "I've got people hugging strangers back here, some crying, some laughing. Everyone's okay," Nina said. Behind me, Albert appeared in the cockpit doorway. He looked at Flora, then at me. "She really did it. She really did." Nina joined us. Tough, no-nonsense Nina, with tears streaming down her face. "That little girl saved all of us." The cockpit door burst open. Emergency personnel, paramedics, taking Captain Wright and First Officer Newman out on stretchers. Then a man in a pilot's uniform pushed through. 40-something. Dark hair, terrified eyes. "Flora!" "Daddy!" She jumped out of the seat, ran to him. He scooped her up, held her like she might disappear, both of them sobbing. "You did it," he kept saying. "I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you." "I was so scared." "I know, but you didn't let the fear stop you. That's what heroes do." Around them, passengers were filing off the plane, shaky, emotional, alive. One by one, they stopped, looked at Flora, this tiny 11-year-old girl in her father's arms, and they started clapping. Slow at first, then louder, then everyone, the passengers, the paramedics, the emergency crew, everyone. Applauding the youngest hero any of them had ever seen. 6 months later, Flora Daniels was honored by the FAA, youngest person ever to safely land a commercial aircraft. They gave her a commendation, a medal, took her picture with the administrator. She was on every news channel, every talk show. Everyone wanted to meet the 11-year-old who'd landed a 737. But when reporters asked her if she was a hero, she always said the same thing. "I just did what my dad taught me. He's the real hero." Rob Daniels, her father, was promoted to chief training pilot. Now he teaches other pilots, and he always tells them Flora's story. An 11-year-old kept 147 people alive, not because she wasn't afraid, but because she didn't let fear make the decision. Remember that next time you're in the cockpit. Fear is information, but it's not the captain. As for me, I see Flora sometimes. She flies to Boston a few times a year to visit her grandparents, always unaccompanied minor, always seated in 14C. Last time, I sat next to her before takeoff. "How are you doing, Flora?" "Good. I'm taking advanced math now, and I joined the robotics club." "Still flying with your dad?" "Every weekend. We just got certified in the new 737 MAX simulator. It's amazing." "Are you going to be a pilot when you grow up?" She smiled. "Maybe, but not yet. I'm only 11. I've got time." The captain's voice came over the intercom. Pre-flight announcements, weather, flight time. Then he said something unusual. "Folks, before we take off, I want to introduce a special passenger. Seated in 14C is Miss Flora Daniels. 6 months ago, she safely landed a 737 when both pilots were incapacitated. She saved 147 lives, including mine. So, Flora, on behalf of everyone who was on Flight 227, thank you." The entire cabin burst into applause. Flora blushed, waved shyly. When we were almost at Seattle, I went back to Flora's seat. "Flora, Would you like to do the arrival announcement? Welcome everyone home to Seattle? She looked at me. Can I? I think they'd love that. A flight attendant brought her a microphone and a paper with information about the weather. Flora cleared her throat, then spoke in that same calm, steady voice I remembered from that terrible day. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Flora Daniels. On behalf of Captain Wright and the entire crew, we'd like to welcome you to Seattle. The local time is 1:47 p.m., and the temperature is 62 degrees with partly cloudy skies. We hope you enjoyed your flight today. For those of you visiting Seattle, welcome to the Emerald City. For those of you coming home, she paused, smiled. Welcome home. We're so glad to have you here safely. Thank you for flying with us. The cabin erupted in applause. Flora handed back the microphone, sat down, buckled her seatbelt. Just an 11-year-old kid, going home. But everyone on that plane knew the truth. Heroes come in all sizes. Sometimes they're only 11 years old. Have you ever witnessed someone, especially a child, do something impossibly brave? Or seen an unlikely hero save the day? Share your story in the comments below. If this story about courage, an 11-year-old hero, and a miracle at 30,000 feet touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories every day. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss our next inspiring tale. Thanks for watching.